I'm sorry I couldn't save you, as hard as I tried. Hell, I can't even save myself. The dream is definitely over, but the nightmare is ever present in our minds. We tried to keep the memories alive, but eventually we all succumb to the end.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
You know, as we walk through the hollowed halls of the Johnstown Galleria in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, just to the southeast of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, could it be said that it's time for a retrospective look at ourselves and a look at the lives of shopping malls to see how they compare? By the way, would you believe that it's almost been a decade since I put out my first mall video? Before Ace's Adventures was created, I had my own personal channel under my personal name that I posted a video of in 2015. So it's been almost 10 years to the day since I started making videos. And one of the things that I enjoy most about these videos, as I've said before, is not talking about the history of the property. That's not my bag, as others do it much more eloquently well than me. For example, Sal, others, friends, acquaintances, Kristen, my friend at Unicom. I enjoy having conversations and talking about the properties in some aspects, of course, but to really understand the science, why these malls that have nothing left in them really drives my interest. As I sit here on 12:15 a.m. on Friday, May 17th, as a 41-year-old man who makes videos for a living as a hobby on the side, and who works at an airport, who just got married, who has a child on the way and is thinking about his future. It really gives you a great time to reflect on the past, not only as to why this topic is so interesting to me, but also how, in some ways, you could argue that a shopping mall models the life cycle of a human. When a mall is born, built, everybody's excited, and it's the fresh new thing, and everybody wants to be around it and give it attention or money for the malls. And then we grow and we change, we mature, we have our teenage years. A shopping mall grows, they have changes, they become sterilized, they lose tenants, they get upgrades, they get renovations, and then eventually they break down, tenants leave, our bodies break down, different things happen, good and or bad, and eventually we run out of time. And unfortunately, saying this in a reflective way, not to be negative, but let's be honest. The American dream is dead. It's long been dead. Without being political, we'll leave it at that. But it does have its effect on the American shopping mall, because the American shopping mall is dead. It will never be the same again. We will never have these experiences that we had in the 80s and 90s. That way of life is long gone. And it brings me to my next point, is that one of the main things that I have always tried to do over this 8-year career, side career, hobby, obsession, whatever you want to call it, on YouTube, is to have a very retrospective look and have a really deep conversation about why I said earlier that these malls are so interesting to me. And I think one of the main things that has come out of this discussion with you all, as I invite you to talk with me in the comments, is that for some of us, myself included, the mall represents a time in my age gap. I think that there are people of all ages that watch my channel, but I think a vast majority of the audience is within my relative time frame in terms of my age group. And we, as older millennials, grew up in a time where things were extremely different than they are today. And we grew up in a time where our youth was our innocence. There was no cell phones. There was no internet. There was simply, for the most part, experiences. And if you wanted to go to a theme park or a shopping mall or to a restaurant, you had to physically go and experience these places. Yes, there was television and advertisements, and a lot of us melted our brains with TV from the 80s and 90s, but not to the extent that there was today. The mall was a place where you could just go and hang out and forget the day. And there were neon and colors and pastels and lights and smells and themes in stores, and just the whole ambiance of a shopping mall was so incredibly different than the way anything is today. Everything had more color, pizzazz, whatever you want to call it, and that's drastically changed. And even psychologically, our world has changed. We live in an age now where everything is instant gratification. You can find out what the weather's like in Kenya in 0.2 seconds on your phone. Everything is so easily attainable that there is no appreciation for almost nothing. And again, this is not to be negative. This is not to be Debbie Downer, so to speak. This is just to have a really soul-searching look at why things are the way they are in malls and how that relates to our life, because the mall is a part of our life. These videos are not just about me documenting concrete walls that are falling apart and eventually will be torn down, like what's happening in Century 3 and all over the country. This is really about people and why we existed and the experiences that we had, and the mall is a big part of that, a huge part of that. And just that's just something, without getting too much deeper, just kind of a interesting look I want to have on it. Again, I've been to this property before. It's been 4 years since I've been here, and it's close enough where it's a couple hours drive, and I have been dying to get some content out to you guys. So I wanted to revisit some places, as you're going to see over the next series of weeks and months here. I'm going to revisit a handful of places, and you'll also see some new places sprinkled in. As I mentioned, I'm married now and have a child coming in November. I'm very excited about that. I'm nervous, but my wife and I are very excited. My wife, Lily, maybe I'll do a reveal for her. I don't know. People on the internet can be kind of weird, so we'll to be determined on that. But anyways, enough about that lecturing, or enough of my random rants about why things are the way they are. I just sometimes like to really sit back and process things. As somebody who is undiagnosed but definitely has a clinical case of ADHD, my brain can kind of wander, and I find at night, when ironically I'm caffeinated and I do these videos at night, that I can kind of really just calm myself and just really take a really deep dive into the science of things about malls and just whatever it is that I'm doing. Ironically, I'm producing a video right now. So it's good to be back with you all. This property is not doing well. Now, the owner is trying. I give him credit. The owner is earnestly trying to repair this property. and he put money into the parking lot and is trying to attract tenants. But you just have to wonder how much success it's going to have. Another interesting thing I wanted to, put in the conversation pit below. I'd really like to get a good conversation going with comments and all that. Is I feel like sometimes, we as people, and this may not be the same for everybody, you can get nostalgic about things, but I find myself also having somewhat of a fear about returning to the past for various reasons. I myself, again, did not have the best childhood. And there are points where, when I'm making these videos, there is definitely an attraction to the past. But also, I feel like maybe either instinctually or just something, from muscle memory, also likes to avoid the past too, likes to move forward. So I wonder, I hope this is making sense, and maybe it's not, but I wonder if maybe, reasons why there really is no hope for malls to return, at least not in this present state, as much as we want to relish in the fact of nostalgia and all that, is because we kind of move forward as people. We go back sometimes, like, for example, like, let's say Star Wars may have a 35th anniversary showing at a cinema, and we enjoy that, and that memories flood back, but then we get back to our current lives, and every second is moving forward, is the future is now the past, and so on and so forth. So I just wonder if psychologically there's also something that maybe just prevents us from, or prevents these things from ever having a chance of getting going again. Now, the best bet that I can offer at the end of the day is, if malls are going to survive, they have to do a couple things, in my honest opinion. Is they have to find a way to, I think, not be so boring, because a lot of the malls that are built today are horrendous. They look like hospitals. They have to find a way to have culture. They have to find a way to have colors, or some sort of modern version of intrigue to them in their aesthetic design, and also offer modern amenities. For example, it's my opinion right now, in the food sector and also in a lot of retail sectors, that the companies that are doing well, they incorporate that into their design. For example, a place that I thoroughly enjoy and hope comes to Buffalo soon is Raising Cane's. They have a disco ball in there, and they have these cool artifacts on the wall, and it has colors and a uniqueness to it, but it feels modern, and I hope that makes sense. And I think that, malls have to be more centralized. There definitely was a gluttony of malls. We overmauled the hell out of this country post World War II and suburbia times, and I think if developers could go back in time and recreate things, they would not have so many malls in certain geographical locations of the country, Pennsylvania. But just some thoughts I had. I'd just like to, like I said, in the late hours here when I'm editing these videos, talk about some unique stuff other than the history of the property, which has been beaten to death. Several creators have done that very well, I might add, but I don't think it would facilitate me just talking about the history of this property as we walk through the Hunter Green, my friend Devin says teal, jungle of the Johnstown Galleria Mall. So just something to chew on. Some people say, don't talk so much, but it's my videos. I'm going to do what I want to do. So before I get out of here, there are more videos coming. I have filmed 4 videos, and my computer, after having a brief battery issue, is up and running, thankfully. And there is a video coming out at least every other week, I promise, for the next month or two. And over the summer, I'm going to do my best to keep the content up as much as possible, with some new ideas and some new things sprinkled in. I'm going to be doing a video on the Mirage Casino in Las Vegas. I want to sprinkle in some dying chains, hotels, and things that I think I can put a unique spin on that I think you guys would really enjoy. I've got some cool ideas. So once again, it's very great to be back with you all. Thank you all for listening to me ramble here. Please consider becoming a Patreon donor, no more than $5 a month at patreon.com/acesadventures. I am on Cameo now, too. You can go on cameo.com, cameo.com, and request a personalized video from me, and I will get that to you within 24 to 48 hours. So just some cool stuff to make a few bucks in the Dead Mall kitten to travel with. So I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend and enjoy the rest of the mall here. I'm going to end with a clip about the future of the Galleria Mall, Johnstown Galleria, and we'll see you guys back soon with more videos.
The Johnstown Galleria Mall may have more stores ahead with the help from its new owner. Leo Carulli, he bought the mall for just over $3 million, and he's looking to revitalize the space by bringing in more food stands and national brand stores. Carulli believes that these new additions will drive more foot traffic to the mall, and that's going to help with the businesses that are currently there.
Trying to get everything together, so make sure everything to work and bring more people to the mall, so bring more traffic too to the mall. More traffic is better for all the tenants, so we have more business.
Carulli is also planning to fix the parking lot roads, and he vows to work nonstop until he achieves those goals.